Yeah, buddy. Getting tired, big guy?
Daddy?
We should let you sleep for 45 minutes and wake you up.
Mommy.
Yeah.
We poured the floor on Wednesday this week. Saturday today, weekend again. But it's still curing. Looks awesome. Guys did a great job. All of our elevations worked out really nicely. So this will be the future shower. They leave that open so it gives you a little bit of wiggle room to get your drain in the right spot. Future toilet, some vents and drains. This will be our if we need it later, this will be our radon pipe that you hook that fan to suck the radon gas from under the floor. This is a backflow valve and a floor drain. And our sump pit is right over here. Hopefully it's empty all the time, but you know, it's there if we need it. This is all of our ductwork. I'm gonna start on that today here. Now that the floor is done, I can get going on all that. This was our pipe that we had the pressure gauge connected to. Same as the garage there. So we had everything all tied together. Supply to return, return to supply, blah, blah, blah. All the way to the end here where we just have a plug. So that pressure gauge has still got 50 PSI on it. So this pipe is still charged up with air. There's no leaks, no problems at all. So today I get to figure out whether or not we can fit these big ducts up into the trusses here in one piece. It's not looking real promising, to be honest here, but hopefully I could squish them down and make it work somehow. But I'm gonna try and figure it out here today, so we'll get going.
Playing on the sand pile. Addie, say hi.
Hi.
It is Sunday, September 19th, and this week we're gonna have a scratch coat on the house. We're just getting ready for stucco. So it'll be nice to see that go on. Getting ready for winter.
Oh, they're coming back.
Oh.
Stucco guys started today. Here's all their nice mortar sand. It's all screened, no rocks in there. You know, they mix up their own stuff there.
Dad, that would be a lot of sifting.
Oh yeah, they have
I
to put.
sift all of that in the sandbox at school.
That would take you a long time, wouldn't it?
That's how much I sift a day.
Well, they've got giant machines that do that, with big conveyors and drums and rollers, and yeah, it's easy for them.
I sift that one that much a day with the hand, with the little toy hand sifter.
You could do that much in a day, hey?
Yeah. I do all of that.
So they started on the east wall over here, this giant wall. You got that all scratch coated. So they covered up all the windows, covered up our penetrations and all that stuff. And they run it right into this J channel they put down there. And they fill it right up. And this is screwed to the wall. So that holds that stucco in there. And then the lath being pointed down the way it is, just everything's all locked in there. So they had to run and grab some more stuff, but they'll be back. I think they're gonna do this wall next. So I'm glad they had to leave actually. I want to stick a plug up on the wall under this window. And for ICF, they've got these cool boxes. I'm only using these on the outside where the stucco is because they're like 10 bucks a box. They're crazy. But you cut your hole, and they've got these little spikes that push out, and that pushes right into the foam, and that locks it all in there. So that sits in there just like that. I'll cut the lath away, peel it back, stick the box in, and then kind of stick the lath back on there and screw it to the box. And then everything's all locked in there and held the way it should be. So those are kind of cool, but I'm not going to use them on the inside because a standard box is like $2 and these are 10. So we have way too many boxes. We'll figure something else out. There. So that's what that looks like installed. These little spikes are sticking in there, poking back this way. That thing's really solid, and the stucco's not even there yet. So we'll have no problems with that. So I started this week on our ductwork. So we've got these 20-inch web trusses. So that allows us to keep everything up top there. Like once this is done, there will be nothing hanging below the ceiling except the diffusers. So the way we're gonna do it, there's gonna be a big supply plenum. It'll go right here. And the return plenum will be kind of a mirror image of it. It'll sit behind it here. So this guy here is a return. And those are all supply ducts. And they're 8-inch round. And each of these 8-inch ducts has 3 5-inch takeoffs. So I've got, this one I've got basically done now. So we've got the one takeoff for the basement here, and 2 for the master bedroom upstairs. So it's nothing real fancy. You just cut your holes. This is what the holes look like on the side there. You snip a hole in there, and then you put your boot on that adapts from the 8-inch round to a 5-inch round. And then you got to put in your diffuser, little baffle there, so that you could balance everything later on. You could open and close the duct a little bit. It's got a little flapper in there that'll kind of act like a valve. Yeah. And then we use this, it's called duct seal. We've been calling it goop. You goop the joints, seal them all up, then there'll be no whistles, and no air escaping, and everything will work really, really well. And again, everything stays up above the trusses, above the ceiling, except in the mechanical room. Here we're gonna have two plenums. Actually, they're drawn. The supply plenum Keem drew for me here. So it starts off bigger, and then as you shed load, it gets smaller and smaller. And the return will be kind of a mirror image of that going the other direction here. And we don't have nearly as many return airs to pick up as there are supplies. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a couple that are like doubles though. These are double the size of a normal one, because these two are servicing this whole area here, and there's basically one for each bedroom. So if you think of it like filling up if you're filling up the room with water, it'll only hold so much water until you relieve it somewhere, right? So that's what the return air does. As your furnace is pumping the air in, the return air is sucking it out, and that way everything circulates in your house, and it works really well. So that's another thing to mention, actually. So you want on the return air and the supply air, you want your crimps to be opposite directions. So on the return, you want the crimps pointing this way, because the air travels that way. And on the supply, you want the crimps facing that way, because the air travels that way. Seems kind of obvious, but until you think about it, you wouldn't think it matters, but it does. So yeah.
Well, we are at September 29 and we're working on ducting, right?
Ductwork, yeah.
Ductwork. So yeah, everything tucks up nice, hot, nice and dry.
The nice thing about web trusses, you can keep everything up in there. Nothing else to hang below.
Are you helping, Ads? Box forts. 2! Good job! We've got box forts after there.
I started doing our HRV drops, heat recovery ventilator or something like that, I think it's called. It's basically, instead of a bathroom fan, you use this thing. It's like a central bathroom fan, and you build these little boxes, and that'll sit inside the wall. It fits within the wall space there. And then we've got these special, I think it's like a 5-inch duct that's been squished, and it also fits, you know, inside a 2x4 wall. And last night I came and I drilled these holes that these fit in, and that'll sit up here, and there'll be, instead of a bathroom fan, when you go take a dump, you push a button and it turns on this HRV, which takes the air out but not the heat out of your house. So it makes it a little more efficient that way. So there's one in each bathroom, this bathroom, that bathroom, that bathroom, and we also stuck one in behind our fridge. This will, you know, kind of help draw some of the heat out from behind the fridge there, because it's going to be, you know, there'll be 2 fridges inside here. There'll be upper cabinets above. There will be, you know, the air will flow in there. But Keen recommended that, and I thought it was a great idea. So we're gonna do it. What else could I say here? You can see where all the vents come up through the floor. You know, they're not set right yet. They just kind of stuck them up, but that'll sit down like that. The heat register goes in there, and that's what'll heat the upstairs. So I've gotten quite a bit further on the ductwork downstairs here. This is gonna look awesome once we get the ceilings all finished, but there's 8-inch supply ducts. Supply. This one will be a cold air return. So I need to attach this duct to a little box that we're gonna build below the wall here. These black pipes, they go right up inside the wall between our bedroom and our bathroom on the main floor. So we'll just need to build a little box here that this duct connects to. And this one's gonna push the air into the room. This one's gonna draw the air back out of the room. And that'll all go right up in here. There's also these smaller 5-inch ducts here. There's 2 of them over to the bathroom here. There's another one in the bathroom here. And then we stuck one in behind the fridge and one in the bathroom at the other side of the house. And that's all gonna end up in the HRV here, that heat recovery ventilator thing. And those both connect up with, there's 2 6-inch ducts here. And that's gonna be the intake and outlet. They go out the wall over here. I've got to core some more holes here again, just like we did for the septic down there. We showed you that earlier. I got to core some more holes right up there for the inlet and the exhaust for that HRV. I've also got to core a hole. I didn't know where the heck I was going to do this earlier, but I think it's going to be right here. We got to core a hole so that we have somewhere for our dryer vent, which will be coming from below the laundry room here. Oh, you know what? Come to think of it, we're gonna need a second dryer vent here. There's downstairs laundry here also. Huh, yeah, I didn't think of that till now. Okay, I gotta core 2 4-inch holes over here for those dryer vents. So we're gonna get that done. And it was actually kind of upsetting when I rented that machine. Ended up having a bit of a spat with the rental place because of it ended up being like ridiculously expensive. I could have hired a guy to do it for less money than that. So this time I'm just gonna hire a guy to do it, but yeah. So sometimes it pays to do your research, and yeah. So we'll just hire that out next time. But they're gonna come not next week, I think the following week though, to get that done for me. So yeah. Okay, so I basically got the supply ducts wrapped up here. The guys built this for me last week, all this plenum stuff here. It was all custom built. A guy named Len, he's a magician with sheet metal. Looks awesome. But I've just got to connect these 90s up top here. The other side is all done. You can see how everything dumps off the side there and then up above. And these ones, they have to come off the top that way because eventually the cold air return plenum is going to go here. Then it'll turn down and hook onto the furnace there. So the hot air goes out here, and then as the furnace is blowing that air through, it's sucking the air back through the cold air return ducts, so it kind of circulates through the house. And we got this really cool platform here. So it does a couple things. It keeps the furnace up off the ground, first of all. Nicer to work on if anything ever floods, you know, your furnace isn't going to get in the water. Plus you get this nice big filter, which is awesome versus the little normal ones are, you know, 3/4 of an inch or an inch. So yeah, that's our supply plenum. I'm going to start working on the HRV stuff here. I went to pick up a bunch of fittings. So I got to get these two 5 inches. So that guy, or that guy and that guy. And then I need to hook up this one. And there's one more right there. No, this one. Right over my head. These all have to connect together. And they're going to hook up to our HRV. So yeah, and get that all connected up and see how it goes. Alright, I basically got this ductwork as far as I could go until I get my return air plenum. But it's really happy with how this is turning out. Our HRV hangs down here. That's like the big central bathroom fan. It'll, you know, circulate the air in the house for you. But those guys, for the HRV, the insulated one is the air coming from inside. It's got to be insulated because in the wintertime you're drawing really cold air and it could be 40 below outside here. You're drawing that air in. It'll come over, up over the beam, down here. This has got to get insulated yet, but I haven't connected it to the unit. And that's got to wrap around and hook up to the inlet side. And the way these things work, they take that inlet air and it mixes across this little yellow thing. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it sort of exchanges the heat. It warms up that air with the exhaust air before it brings that air into your house, so that you're not replacing that you know, exhausted warm house air with cold, you know, winter air. And then the other one, that's the, you know, your fart fan basically going outside. That's the exhaust out of the house. So yeah, basically I'm as far as I can go until I get that return plenum. Here's what one of those little boxes I built looks like. Just out of that, it's called thermopan, that silver stuff. You just basically close off the joist space there. Just kind of, I can't remember exactly what I did there. I used one of these triangles and just sort of boxed it all in. And that one downstairs there will look like this upstairs. I just need to finish framing this across here so that there's something to screw the drywall to. And then we'll put a grill there, and that'll be it. That's our cold air return. So yeah, getting to the end of ductwork. It's been lots of work, lots of fun though. Never done it before, so it was really cool. Here's all the venting for the furnace and the boiler. They go up through this wall behind the fridges. The 3 inch is for the boiler, the 2 inches for the furnace, and one supplies fresh air in, and the other is the combustion air out. And it's gonna go up through the roof. We're gonna take it and sort of offset it up on a 45-degree angle, so it kind of goes up that way, so that the vents are on the back side of the house. Then we don't have them poking through, and you don't see them right when you drive into the yard, you know. Don't have to, but just a little cosmetic thing that we're gonna do. And I think the guys, I think they call these bazookas. These pieces that, here, I'll open one up. Yeah. Bazooka. So, I think, yeah, the combustion air goes up the middle, and the fresh air comes up the side here. And then what that does is you only have to poke one hole in your roof, and you get your supply air and your combustion air in the one hole. So only one thing to patch. So that's the 2 inch. I've also got a 3 inch for the other one. And that's it. Pretty cool. Pretty soon we'll have heat on. I still have to do all the gas piping yet, but I think that'll be next. So yeah. All right, a little update here. I've basically got the ductwork complete. I just need to kind of seal everything up with some tape and some goop. But this is the HRV. Talked about that earlier. We've also got a humidifier. So in the winter time, it gets kind of dry. This will, there's a humidistat that'll maintain whatever humidity we set it at. And that just, you hook up water here, and when it calls for it, it'll run through a little grill in the back here. I'll open this up. It'll just trickle across there, and then the air moving across there, blowing out of the duct, it'll go through here and humidify the air. So everything stayed up above the trusses, like I've said 100 times before, but there's nothing hanging down. Looks really good, nice and clean. Another big thing I tried here today, we actually haven't got any water out of the well yet. So I need to get some water out of there so I can give the water guys a sample. So basically, we've just kind of got the pump sort of hot wired here over to the panel. Don't mind the sketchy open panel here. We'll turn it on, and that should get the water flow in there. So I'll let that run for a few minutes until we can get some kind of fresh water. We'll get the line all flushed out, get that water that's been sitting in the well there for a few months, get that out of there. And then I'll take a few pails full of water, and we can get a sample for the guys and see what we need for a water treatment system. So yeah, I think good things are happening.